Okay, today is May the 12th, a day after the big Soul Calibur V announcement. On Namco, the revealing of the Soul Calibur V webpage, which I believe is www.soulcalibur.com.
Doesn't tell you much though.
Yeah, they dropped the trailer yesterday. Not very revealing, but it has gotten people anticipating, the fans of the series. Soul Calibur more than likely have been disappointed by the last few games to come out, so this game has been much anticipated, even from the fact that it originally was not going to be made, and now here we are years later and it's actually in the making, set for release sometime in 2012. We don't have much information on it other than the fact that it is set 17 years in the future with Sophitia's son Patroclus as the main protagonist. We decided to get together the day after a day of thinking to give our thoughts on what we would like to see in Soul Calibur V and some things we would not like to see in the future of the series. Okay, the first thing we want to talk about is what we'd like to see, and the first thing we would like to see in Soul Calibur V is no more off and on canon storylines. Throughout the Soul Calibur series, there's been a sort of trend, same thing with the Tekken series, to where there's really no, well there is, but it isn't very clear what the canon storyline is until the next game.
Absolutely.
And that gets annoying and old after a while. I cannot explain how many times I've seen Soul Edge destroyed, Soul Calibur eaten, like every game someone destroys it, and every game something ridiculous happens, and the story's very hard to follow. So I would like to see a singular, cohesive story throughout everyone's storylines. I want to see it come together in a singular type of,
Yeah.
thing.
Like if for instance, like let's say two people battle, it won't be different how the outcome is and then how they go onto their path from another person's story. If it goes this way, it goes this way. It won't change. And we won't have like nightmares destroying the universe and whatnot and then coming back in the next game. And it's just the way they do that. I don't know why they do that. I guess they don't want to really.
I think it's easier to write that way. And another thing we need to see stop happening is no more character deaths that are not canon. Who's died over the years in comeback? I think Maxie's died. I think Shangwa Kilix has died at some point in Soul Calibur IV, I believe it was. Stop having characters die unless they're dead. Don't bring them back. If they're dead, that's it, please. Stop the shenanigans.
Yeah, and this kind of adds to the relevance thing, in my opinion. I personally want in Soul Calibur, I guess it ties into the story thing, is characters that stay relevant. Soul Calibur 4 and 3 had characters that were never relevant from the beginning and that had no point to the story at all, basically. They just had their own little thing. Like, I mean, I'll be honest, I like Yun-Seong a little bit, but he's pointless. Absolutely. He, his whole thing was, I wanted to prove I could battle Huang. It's been that way.
Huang isn't even in the series anymore. He's like being pro somewhere. Like, Yun-Seong has very little purpose besides his own little thing. The same with characters like,
sadly, my girl Song Mina.
So Mina doesn't really have too much of an important purpose anymore. Cassandra doesn't have a real important purpose. These are characters like, I need to see everyone have their own part in the world of Soul Calibur to play. And we're not seeing that, and you just have filler characters. Yoshimitsu isn't very important, let's be honest. We love him, but what has he done for us lately? Not much.
Yamu.
So, we love that, but we need a little more from Yoshimitsu. We can't just live off Namu forever, dude. So, come on now. We need a singular story where everyone plays a part and that no, mysteries are involved. Who and so-and-so did here, why are they here? We need to have Soul Calibur 5 bring it all together and make it significant.
Maybe it'll revive the series after what 4 did.
We can only hope. Can't be eating cereal, dude. Alright. Next thing we would like to see in Soul Calibur 5 would be the return of modes. Some of you remember modes from the old Soul Calibur games. Those are extra venues of play that were taken out in Soul Calibur 4. Literally, I think Soul Calibur 4 had 2 modes, right? It had Versus mode, and it had like Story mode, and Tower of Lost Souls. I think it had like 3 modes. And that game was depressing. There was nothing in it. It's barren. It's a tumbleweed. There's nothing in that game.
Yeah.
Which is extremely disappointing because Soul Calibur is known for its venue of modes. Soul Calibur 3, which is probably my favorite Soul Calibur, had so many modes it was stupid. Soul Calibur 2, shitload of modes. From the team modes to the survival modes.
Exhibition modes, battle theater, blah blah blah.
We're not going to talk about that. It's a totally different subject. But it had a shitload of modes. A ton of things to do. Tournament mode. There was so many things to do. And it was really disappointing when you play Soul Calibur 4 and aside from doing story mode for whatever reason, I guess you care, to going into the Tower of Lost Souls, which was a poor man's excuse for Edgemaster mode, there wasn't really anything to do in Soul Calibur 4. Besides get achievements, and I don't care about achievements. I mean, when you look at story mode, it was literally a screen of texts and 5 fights. That's it. That's what we got. That's what the story of Soul Calibur 4 was. It was a screen of text and 5 fights. That's it.
The fights didn't even matter, really.
There were just people they threw together. It was supposed to be some type of cohesive thing. It wasn't. Let's be real. They just threw together some fugly-looking creative characters, threw them at you, and said, "Here you go.
There were
5 fights, fight nightmare." That's it.
That's what it was. It was basically 4 fights. One of those fights is one that mattered in their story that they actually wrote in the text or whatever that
And
mattered.
then you fight either Siegfried or Nightmare, and then you fight Algol, and that's it. Who was a poor man's excuse.
Yeah, do you fight out?
Fred?
I thought
You usually do, right? At the end.
I thought it was either.
Isn't he at the top of the fucking tower? I'm pretty sure you should fight him.
I thought it was either Algol, Nightmare, or Siegfried. But you know what?
Fuck it. It was 5 fights, and it doesn't matter.
I haven't played that game in so long.
You roll a dice and you fight either one. Anyways, what I would love to see in Soul Calibur 5 is them to bring back actual modes that increase the longevity of gameplay. Because, let's be honest, if I ever play Soul Calibur 4 again, I'm gonna play it for like 5 minutes and that's it. There's nothing to do.
You do it to be disappointed, basically.
I play to be disappointed. I go create a character to be disappointed. I go and play the game to be disappointed. They took out so many modes that is depressing. That game's barren. So I hope they bounce back from that game, bring back the modes, bring some new modes, and let's get it done, dude.
By taking out the modes and doing all that, that is like the true example, the true testament to how gaming is going nowadays. We got to make sure it looks pretty for the newer generation, and just if we take out a few game mechanics that make the games good, then we'll do so, which is basically how video games are these days, which really aggravates me because it's not true gameplay, and gaming is for how you play. You don't play chess to look at the pieces. Some people probably do, but you know what I mean.